In this video, I'm going to break down the complete reality of stream training step by step. I will tell you what really happens behind the scenes. So, if you are about to start your stream training or you have already received mails about it and you are feeling confused, then this video is for you. Because honestly, most freshers have zero clarity at this stage. Questions like, will I get salary during stream training? How many assessments are there? Will I even get the stream I selected? How streams are assigned? How attendance works? The exact pattern of MCQ 1, 2, 3 and hands-on. I will also explain which assessments are proctored, how much you need to score to qualify, what the hands-on round actually looks like in real scenarios, whether training is online or offline, and whether it happens before or after onboarding. So, by the end of this video, you will have complete clear roadmap of what is coming next. Make sure you watch till the end. Repeating, watch till the end. Because some of the most important points are not obvious and missing them can actually cost you. So let's begin. Hey, welcome to Point Blank, where you get straight to the point content. So let's not waste time, let's get started. After you complete your primers, professional development, and delivery trainings, the next step is something called stream training. And this is where things start getting a bit more important for your actual role. Now, either during your primer training or sometimes a little later, you will receive a stream preference survey link. This is not just another form to fill casually. This is where you are actually deciding the direction of your work going forward. In that survey, you will see multiple stream options. Sometimes it might be around 8 options, sometimes 10, and in some cases it can even go beyond 40 plus different streams. Out of all those options, you are required to select 3 streams in order of priority: preference 1, preference 2, and preference 3. This basically means you are telling them this is my first choice, this is my backup, and this is my third option if the first two don't work out. So take this step seriously because based on these preferences, your actual stream training and future work domain will be decided. Okay, let me actually show you what these streams look like because many people don't even realize how many options are there until they see it, right? So these are the 40 plus streams that one of my friends recently received. This was from the 2025 off-campus hiring batch, and their process happened around May 2026. So this gives you a real idea of what kind of options you can expect, not theory but an actual recent list. The streams and technologies you will see in that survey are not fixed. They change based on multiple factors like your joining date, current project availability, and overall business demand. So, what you get in your batch might be completely different from what someone else got in their batch. That's exactly why comparing with others is a waste of time. Someone who joined earlier or late might see a total different set of options, so don't fall into the trap. Now, one thing you should not delay: fill the preference form as soon as possible. Don't overthink it for days. The reason is simple: every stream has limited vacancies. It's not like everyone who selects a stream will get it. So, the earlier you submit, the better your chances are actually getting a stream from your top preferences. Once you submit the survey, after that there is a waiting phase. And this part is unpredictable. You might get your stream allocation mail during delivery training or right at the end of it, or sometimes even in between of at any random points. So there is no fixed timing here. But when that mail finally comes, in that mail you will clearly see which stream has been assigned to you, when your stream training is going to start, and when it is expected to end. Now, part most people misunderstand: just because you selected three preferences doesn't guarantee you will get one of them. There is a chance you will get one of your chosen streams, but there is also a very real possibility that you will be assigned a completely different stream. Because at the end of the day, allocation depends on current project requirements, not just your preferences. So don't get too attached to your choices. Be flexible. That mindset will save you a lot of frustration later. Now let's get into the actual internal structure of stream training, because this is where most people get confused and underestimate the process. First thing, duration. Stream training is not a short phase. It typically lasts anywhere between 1.5 months to 3 months, depending on which stream you get. Some streams are lighter and some are more intensive, so your experience will vary. Now, coming to the mode of training, this is important. Everything will be completely virtual. There is no physical classroom. You will have live online classes. And once your training starts, you will receive a complete schedule. That schedule will clearly show you daily sessions, topics, timings, basically everything you need to follow. The classes usually run like a full time job, morning around 9 a.m. to evening 5 pm, with breaks in between. Now comes something people take lightly, but should not: attendance. For every single day, your attendance will be taken twice. The trainer will share a code during session, and you will have to go to the Measure My Learning portal, I think, and mark your attendance there. You won't get unlimited time. Sometimes you will get 5 minutes, sometimes 10 or 15 minutes max. If you miss that window, your attendance is gone for that session. No excuses later. So you have to stay alert during classes. Moving forward, while your stream training is ongoing, you will receive another important mail. This will contain your assessment schedule. You already know the structure, right? MCQ 1, 2, 3, and hands on. But what this mail contains is, it gives you exact dates, like on which day your MCQ is scheduled, when MCQ 2 happens, when MCQ 3 is, and finally your hands on exam. Now let's break down the assessment pattern of stream training, because this is where most people either relax too much or panic unnecessarily. First, the easiest part, MCQ 1 and MCQ 2. MCQ 1 is non proctored and your target score is 12 marks. MCQ 2 is also non proctored, but here your target score is 18 marks. Since both of these are non proctored and for practice purpose only, don't take that as a free pass to ignore preparation. If you build that habit here, it will hit you hard in MCQ 3. Now comes the real filter, MCQ 3. This is a proctored exam and your target score is 24 marks. This is where things get serious, because now you are being proctored. Proctored means your webcam is on, your microphone is on, and there is an actual human proctor monitoring you. Typically, one proctor will observe multiple candidates and they have actively watching you. They might ask you to show your 360 degrees room, and if they notice anything suspicious, they will message you instantly, like sit properly, don't look away, like that, etc. Now, coming to the hands on exam, this is the most important one. It is also proctored. The total marks is 100, total score is 60 marks. This is not theory anymore. Here they test how you actually work. For example, if you are in Java full stack stream, they might give you a Spring Boot project where some business logic is incomplete, certain APIs are not working, and you need to fix and complete them. You will have a backend layers like controller, service, repository, and you will be expected to complete the missing logic, run the application, and test it. All these exams, MCQ 1, 2, 3, and hands on, are conducted on the Metal platform. Now, about the timeline between exams. Usually, the gap between MCQ 1, 2, 3 is around up to 10 days. It can be less, but don't expect too long breaks. And the hands on exam. It can happen immediately after MCQ 3 or sometimes after a few days. So, you don't really get much breathing space there. So if you are thinking I will prepare after MCQ 3, that's a mistake. You need to prepare for hands-on in parallel, not later. Also, you will get access to Accenture LearnVantage platform. Inside that, they will clearly define everything: pattern, number of questions, scoring criteria, everything. Now you might be thinking, what is this 12, 18, 24 marks? Why these specific numbers, right? Simple, it's nothing but 60% of the total questions. The exams will have 20 questions, 30 questions, and 40 questions. Now, one common confusion: salary during stream training. Let's make this very simple. If your stream training is happening after onboarding, then yes, you will get your monthly salary as usual. But if your stream training is happening before onboarding, then no, you won't receive any salary during that period. So don't overcomplicate it by asking, will I get salary in stream training or not? The answer is straightforward. If you are onboarded, you get salary. If you are not onboarded, then you don't get salary. That's it. No exceptions, no confusion. Now let's talk about something everyone cares about, but very few approach correctly. How to actually get good projects. First, accept this clearly. The stream assigned to you is final. There is no switching just because you don't like it. And whatever stream you get, your project will also come from that same stream. So the moment your stream training starts, drop that I will chill for now mindset. That phase is over. If you carry the attitude here, you will directly reducing your own chances of getting a good project. Even if you don't like the stream, you don't have a choice, you have to work in it. Attend classes properly, don't just sit there. Go beyond what trainers teach. Use sources like YouTube or even tools like ChatGPT to deepen your understanding. And most importantly, maintain notes if you need them. Now, here is where people mess up comparison. You will see some people chilling, skipping notes, barely paying attention, and still looking confident. Ignore that. You don't know their background, their learning speed, their prior knowledge. What actually matters is how well you understand concept, how fast you can grasp and apply things. Some people don't need notes, others absolutely need them to revise and retain. Figure out which category you fall into and act accordingly. Blindly copying others is a mistake. Stream training is not some basic exam you can clear at last moment. If you take it lightly, it can seriously affect your continuity in the company. So stay sharp at least until you land in a project. Think of it this way, these 2 to 3 months are a short investment, but the output of the effort decides what kind of work you will do, what team you will join, and how your career starts. Now, towards the end of your stream training, you will start getting project opportunities. These can come in two ways, direct allocation or through client interviews. And here is the key factor most people ignore, your performance in MyCompetency exam. To just pass, you need a minimum of P2 proficiency. But if your goal is to get into better projects, better teams, and better exposure, you need to aim higher than just passing. Because higher proficiency is equal to better visibility. Higher proficiency is equal to better chances of getting good projects. So don't aim just to clear, aim to stand out that managers actually want to pick you. And a quick thing before you move on, this is exactly how the YouTube algorithm works. If this video actually gave you clarity, like the video, that single action makes YouTube algorithm to reach to more candidates who are currently stuck in the same confusion you had. And if you want these kinds of straight, no confusion updates, make sure you are subscribed because missing one step can actually create problems later. Also, if you still have any doubts at any point, drop them in the comments. I will check and respond there so you don't stay stuck anywhere in the process.